I'm Devera Kim Marcel O from 1E3 BS Criminology. So this is law enforcement agency and we have police. Police is the agency of community or government that is responsible for enforcing laws, maintaining public order, preventing and detecting crimes. It also used to interchangeably with law enforcement agency. Next up, we have different police activities. We have prevention of crime. It is intended to prevent root causes of crimes. We have repression or suppression of crimes. It is intended to reduce the opportunity of committing crimes like conducting patrol. Next up, we have apprehension of offenders. It also known as arresting offenders. We also have conducting search and seizure and investigation of crimes. And last is protection of lives and properties. We have three government branches, and that is executive branch, legislative branch, and judicial branch. So the executive branch is the one who implementing the laws, while the legislative branch is the one who making the laws, and the judicial branch is the one who interpret the laws. So we have juries of police service, and that is continental jury and home rule jury. In continental jury, policemen are considered as the servant of the higher authorities, and the government structure of continental jury is centralization. While the home rule jury, the policeman in that is considered as the servants of the community, and the government structure in home rule jury is decentralization. So the continental jury have the centralization government, while the home rule jury have decentralization government. So we also have the fundamental concepts of police service. We have old concept and modern concept. So in old concept, the effectiveness of policemen is based on the number of arrests and put behind bars. While in the modern concept, the effectiveness of policemen is based on the absence of crime. So we have functional units of police organization. We have bureau, division, section, and unit. So in bureau is the largest organic functional unit within the department, while the division is the subdivision of bureau. And the section is unit within a division necessary for specialization, while the unit is the functional group within the section. So the unit is also the smallest function group of the organization. So we have significant development of police in international setting, especially in England. So we have Anglo-Saxon period, 1600s to 1066, while the Norman period, 1066 to 1284, while the Westminster period, we have 1285 to 1500s, and modern period in England in 17th century to 19th century. So we have significant development during Anglo-Saxon period. So we have Thames policing system, the Franklinch policing system, the Tan policing system, the UN car policing system, the royal judge, and the trial by ordeal. So in Thames policing system, King Alfred the Great introduced the type of internal police force where the landowners known as Thanes throughout the kingdom were responsible to police own territory. So in the Franklinch system, policing system, which is carried out by mutual pledge, whereby every male over 12 years old joined the tithing men. This said tithing men perform police tasks. It's also composed of 10 groups. While the Tan policing system is the big team. The victim will shout in the middle of the community, and once the male residents hear the shout, they are all assembled to apprehend a perpetrator. While in the royal judge conducts criminal investigation and gives the appropriate punishment for the crime that they committed. This policing system is being followed by the Philippines. And next step is the trial by ordeal. The suspects requires to put hands over boiling water and or in any act which may hurt him. The society believes that God will protect the innocent one from being hurt. So, dito sa trial by ordeal, yung kamay mo, kunwari ikaw yung nakagawa ng kasalanan, na pinagbibintangan ka. So, ilalagay mo yung kamay mo sa kumukulong tubig. Pag nasaktan ka, you are guilty. Pag hindi ka nasaktan, you are not guilty. Kasi naniniwala sila na si God ay paprotektahan yung mga inosente from being hurt. So, yun. So, we also have significant development during Norman period. First, we have Sheriff's system. Sheriff's system observed during King William Norman became the ruler of England. He divided the kingdom into 55 military districts known as shire. Shire refers to the district and reeve refers to the ruler of the district. The ruler made laws, rendered judgment, and imposed penalties. In the Philippines, the judicial and legislative branch has power to do so. Next is Court of the Thorn, settles a range of cases often dealing with performed offenses and civil matters. From the court, 12 tithing men were selected to hear the cases. Next is Court Lit, to handle legal matters in somewhat of communities. The Norman established Court Lit, which look after matters of purely local interest and privileges nuisances. The head of Court Lit was the constable, which means the master of the house. Next, we also have Legis Henry. Legis Henry was passed during the time of King Henry I, and it features together with a comparison of the Philippine policing system at the present. Next, we have Keepers of Peace. Proclamation issued by King Richard of England in 1995 requiring the appointment of knights to maintain peace and order at the place where the king is residing. The knights were posted on bridges and gates to check the people entering and leaving the town. At the present, the President Guard was called the PSG, or the Presidential Security Group. Next up is we have Magna Carta, the Great Charter, was sealed by King John of England. No pursuant shall be taken or imposed, disposed, outlaw, or vowed without legal judgment of his peers. In June 15, no one is above the law. Next, we have the significant development during Westminster period. First, we have Statute of Winchester, 1285 to 1500s, was enacted to introduce the system of watch and ward. This system of watch and ward was enacted by the means of ordinances enacted by the barangay, municipal, and city ordinances to employ tanods to patrol at night. Next up, we had the Statute of 1295. Was introduced to closure of gates of London. This started the curfew hours. In the Philippines, this is imposed upon the ordinances passed at the local government. Next up, we have the Justice of Peace. This position was given to respectable citizens. These are persons have the rights to conduct arrest and prison offenders. In the Philippines, this is known as police officers. And thus is we have the Star Chamber of Court, was established by a special court to try offender against the states. In the Philippines, the courts hear and try in civil cases range from highest to lowest. So these are the significant development during the Westminster period. Next up, we have the significant development during modern period in England. First, we have King Charles II, 1633, passed the law provides that for the employment of watchmen or bellmen to be on duty from sunset to sunrise. Night bellmen were known as the rattle watch because they carried rattles. Next up, we had Henry Fielding, 1748. He became the magistrate of Bow Street in London. Organized a group of men known as the Bow Street Runners or the thief catchers from the Bow Street horse patrol whose duty was to patrol the main road, securing travelers from highway bandits. Next is we have William Pitt, 1785. He presented the bill in the British Parliament creation of a police force in London. This proposal met with instant opposition that this new force would be responsible for the apprehension of criminal prevention that would be formal continuation of the mandate of the runners. Next is Sir Robert Peel 1829. Introduced the Metropolitan Act, which was passed Parliament of England. The enactment of said law led the creation of the Metropolitan Police Force of London, which was viewed as the first organization of the police force. This force was later named Scotland Yard, being the originator at the first head of such police organization. Peel has earned the title Father of Modern Policing System. The important plot of Sir Robert Peel was the separation of the judiciary. Next, we have Republic Act 6975, is the act establishing the Philippine National Police, or the PNP, under the Organized Department of Interior and Local Government, the DILG, and for other purposes known as the Department of Interior and Local Government of 1990, Section 1. So the Republic Act number 6975, an act establishing the Philippine National Police under the Organized Department of the Interior and Local Government and for the purposes only. Next up, we have the Republic Act 8551, otherwise known as the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998 and for other purposes. Next, we have the American Occupations Insular Constabulary Act of number 175, an act providing for the organization and government of insular constabulary whose function was to preserve peace, keeping order, and enforcing laws headed by General Henry T. Allen. While the Manila Police Department, Act number 183, Second Philippine Commission, the Manila Police Department was organized under the leadership of Captain George Curry, the first Chief of Police. Next up, we have the Philippine Constabulary Act of number 225. At this, majority of PC or personnel were Filipinos placed under supervision of American officers, and Rafael Came was the first Filipino chief. Next, we have the Department of the Interior and Local Government. The Department of shall consist of the department proper, existing bureaus and offices of the Department of Local Government, the National Police Commission, the Philippine Public Safety College, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. So the head of the department hereinafter referred as the Secretary, shall also be the ex officio chairman of the National Police Commission and shall be appointed by the President. So no retired or resigned military officer or police official may be appointed as secretary within 1 year from the date of his retirement or his resignation. So the secretary or the head of the department, who shall hold the office at the pleasure of the President and shall receive the compensation, allowances, and emoluments which heads of department are entitled. Next up, we have the National Police Commission. It shall be composed of chairman and 4 regular commissioners, one of whom shall be designated as vice chairman by the President. The secretary of the department shall be the ex officio chairman of the commission, while the vice chairman shall act as the executive officer of commission. Next, we have section 28, rank classifications. So we have PO1 as patrolman, patrolwoman, PO2 police corporal, PO3 Police Staff Sergeant, SPO1 Police Master Sergeant, SPO2 Police Senior Master Sergeant, SPO3 Police Chief Master Sergeant, and SPO4 Police Executive Master Sergeant. Inspector is Police Lieutenant, Senior Inspector is Police Captain, and Chief Inspector is Police Major. Superintendent is Police Lieutenant Colonel, Senior Superintendent is Police Colonel, and Chief Superintendent is Police Brigadier General. So the Director is the Police Major General. The Deputy Director General will be the Police Lieutenant General, and the Director General will be the Police General. So this is the rank classification of Section 28, the old and the new. Next, we have Section 30 of RA 6975, amended with Section 14 of RA 8551, qualifications, general qualifications for appointment in PNP, qualifications of grading, or the continuing in character. So first, you should have you should citizen of Philippines. Next is you have a person of good moral conduct, clearances or certificates from barangay or police provincial offices to show no derogatory records on file. Next is must possess a formal baccalaureate degree and at least second-year college with 72 collegiate units. Next is must eligible in accordance with the standards set by the Commission. Next is we have must not have been dishonorably discharged from military employment or dismissed from causes for any civilian position in the government. Next is must not have been convicted by the final judgment of an offense or criminal involving moral turpitude. Next is must at least 1 meter and 62 centimeter, 1.62 meter height in male, and for female is 1 meter and 57 centimeters, 1.7 meters for female. And must weigh not more or less than 5 kilograms according to the standard weight corresponding to your height, age, and sex. Next, the last is for a new applicant must not be less than 21 nor more than 30 years of age. Next is Section 32 of RA 6975 amended with the Section 21 of RA 8551. This is the examination of policemen. The Philippine National Commission or the NAPOCOM shall administer the entrance examination and promotional examination for policemen on the basis of the standards set by the Commission. So that's it for Law Enforcement Administration.